Hi, Mendaka.
Hi, Mega.
How are things?
Doing great. And how about yourself?
Pretty stiff day today, but then was looking forward for this.
Excited being here?
A bit.
Same here.
Right,
Same
great.
here.
So, Mendaka, just to give the your introduction. So, Mendaka Hetty Tansri is
Tantri,
yeah
yes.
is the Deputy General Manager, Head of Engineering for TJ Lanka Entities, and Head of Sustainability for the TJ Group. With extensive experience in engineering, operational excellence, and sustainable industrial practices, he drives initiatives that merge innovation with environmental responsibility. He is a lifetime fellow member of the Institute of Chartered Professional Managers and a certified project management professional. Mendaka is also a UNIDO certified energy management systems expert, reflecting his strong focus on energy efficiency and sustainable manufacturing. He holds a BSc in mechanical engineering, specializing in aeronautical engineering from the United States Military Academy at West Point. His professional credentials include certifications in the Toyota production system, interesting, total productive maintenance, ISO 50001, energy management systems auditing, and lean practices.
Pretty much a jack of all trades.
It's like,
All
like
over the place.
very interesting, and also like common stuff, and like because I also have been in sustainability.
Well, my initial key focus was not actually sustainability. Of course, I started in engineering and gradually came to the sustainability bit. So, Mega, may I give an introduction about you as well?
Yes, please.
So, we have with us Mega Ganeshan. Currently serves as the senior manager and head sustainability at DEMO. She's an environmentalist, a philanthropist, a conservationist, and an educator in sustainability with over 18 years of professional expertise at DEMO, Linear Aqua, and Practical Action.
Okay.
So she has a master's in environmental management from the University of Colombo, a postgraduate diploma in environmental management from the University of Colombo, a diploma in biodiversity management from the University of Colombo. Wow, University of Colombo. She has 18 years of volunteering expertise at Young Zoologists Association of Sri Lanka, serving as the president of YZA in 2018. Yehelia Foundation, serving as the head of events and women in science and engineering Sri Lanka, serves as a committee member.
Okay.
So you've always been in sustainability.
Correct. It has been like the thing for me for like my pet subject is wildlife conservation. So I have been always like going towards that stream.
Right.
I'm lucky enough to do sustainability, I guess.
Yeah. So to start things off, what do you think about the topic today that we have?
Inclusivity and
Yes.
diversity.
Yes.
So this is something that I always actually talk about.
Right.
For me, diversity coming from, so I'm a hybrid basically.
Right.
So coming from two ethnic groups.
Right.
So diversity like has been part of me. We think like, from a very young age, it's like a normal thing at home. So throughout the years, like in school, professionally, and also everywhere I go, I seems to be like, part and parcel of this. So for me, it's a natural thing that comes to me. What about for you?
I come from a different background. After school, I've joined the army for some time. Was at States for 4 years. That's where I graduated.
Sorry.
And then came back and then served for some time. Then left the military in 2012 to end of 2011. And my corporate journey started from 2012 onwards. So I started off as a graduate trainee for engineering in 2012 for Maharajas, was working for Maharajas. And then joined MAS, was with Stretchline for about almost close to 4.5 years. Then since 2020, I've been working with TJ. And throughout the entire time, I was always involved with engineering. But when I stepped into the TJ engineering culture or that bubble, that's when I got exposed with the whole sustainability bit, the inclusion and all these topics. So been there for almost 5 years and been heading sustainability for almost a year and a half now.
Okay, fantastic. So I think we have common ground, like in terms of working at MAS.
Oh, so
Yeah, so I've been there for 7.5 years.
Right.
So started as a sustainability executive, so
Right.
mainly focused on environmental management.
Right.
But I learned a lot,
Right.
and also was exposed to a lot
Right.
in terms of sustainability, like where I actually learned what it was about.
Right.
And then, of course, like because at MAS we have Women Go Beyond and so many other programs as well. So, and then there was like, a lot of different types of people working from different ethnic groups to a lot of different ideas to whatnot. So I think that's also a great experience.
Yeah, pretty much.
So do you want to jump into the questions, or but before that, like, is it okay if I ask you something, like regarding because of your military part as well as being in US and then coming here? Is there any difference you see, like in terms of diversity and inclusion, or like something that you were exposed to?
See, I think the experience that I had in States was completely different to what I'm experiencing in Sri Lanka, of course, But Sri Lanka, these topics are now becoming prominent, but maybe a decade ago, inclusion, sustainability, being or diversity, all these topics were not so heard of. So I think it's a good thing that we are picking up on these subjects now, rather than they being add-ons. Right, so they are becoming core values in organizations as well. But in the States, I was there from 2004 to end of 2007, early 2008. So at that time, also they had these topics being discussed openly, right? So the culture was different, and the cultural shift kind of gave me a good exposure to think about things and look at things in a very balanced perspective. So military was completely different. Military was very structured, very rigid, and we had a very strong chain of command, and all the orders were passed down, and it was a different experience. But I think I got the best of both worlds.
Right, that's great. It was interesting, like to learn about something like from that side to this side, like, and then what were you exposed to and stuff. So do you want to dive into the questions? Okay, let's see. Okay, you can answer this question, so we can skip it.
So I thought you were going to read the question and you were going to answer the same question.
Oh, I thought like I asked you the question. Okay, so let's see. Global supply chains often reinforce inherited hierarchies. How do you see them evolving to support equity?
See, I think let's take a step back, and I will start with TJ and how we work, and I will get to that question. So basically, we are a textile manufacturer. We are one of the largest textile manufacturers in Southeast Asia. TJ Lanka itself, we have about 40 to 45 tons of fabric manufacturing capacity per day, and in TJ India, we have about another 55 tons of fabric manufacturing. So we have a legacy of 25 plus years. So we've been in the industry, we've been in Sri Lanka for almost 25 plus years. And our partnership initiated with Textiles UK initially. So it's a very long legacy. So the supply chains that we had at TJ were very structured, and I'd say we had very traditional supply chains. Also, they were not basically focused on sustainability or inclusion, but rather looking at efficiencies, utilization, or I think profitability mainly, right? But now things are changing. With sustainability becoming a core value for our organization, these things are changing. And even like, for example, we at TJ, we have built up many strategic partnerships, collaborations with the UNGC, with the DHC. We are a signatory partner with them. We are a Blue Sign System partner. We work with UNIDO very closely, and we work with the National Cleaner Production Sri Lanka very closely. We have all these strategic partnerships because we wanted to learn and evolve as an organization, right? And by doing so, what we have done with our supply chains is to transfer that knowledge down to our tier 2, tier 3 suppliers. So basically, it's like an ecosystem. They think about an ecosystem. It's knowledge transfer and sharing the know-hows of the industry and foreseeing the future as well. Because we work closely with brands, we work closely with all these strategic partners. So we see what is going to happen within the next 5 years or 10 years down the line, right? So that information, we get that information from our partners, and then we push it down to our supply chains. So it's not just us, but it's like a chain reaction. When we learn and evolve, the rest of the supply chain is also learning and evolving. Okay. So I think that's what's happening the textile field.
Yeah, I think it's always a journey. Because you have to start from somewhere, and then like what we learn, I think that is the best part of sustainability.
Yeah.
Because we like even I have been like in the corporate sector for some time now, and we always think like it's a competition when it comes to sustainability as well, but it's not. So it's like a journey, and you learn from everyone, right? And then like when you look at the supply chain also, so what you have to do is like whatever that we learn, it's like we share it, so that we make sure that they also get on board with like all the things that we do. So from chemical management to everything. So yeah, that's great.
Yeah, and just to add a little bit, when we first hear the word inclusion, first thing that comes to our mind is people.
Correct.
Gender or roles or representations. But I think it kind of goes beyond. It's the systems, the processes, the traditions that we have, the values that we have in our organizations. It's where we work and then where we live, I think, basically. So I was fortunate to be a part of a great organization where sustainability is becoming a core value and inclusion is there, diversity is accepted, and we also have programs like She Can, She Leads.
Right.
So it's great. So I think I was fortunate in a way to be a part of TJ.
It's fantastic. I see TJ like winning a lot of awards, and you guys are doing a lot of work as well. So great to see. Yeah.
So I guess it's my turn. So, Megha, can you share an example where innovations in your sector simultaneously advance ecological sustainability and social inclusion?
Right. So I think one of the examples that I can give, it's like, has made a tremendous kind of success, especially like when you say demo. We are also known as Diesel Motor Engineering PLC, and then people ask us like, what is Diesel doing, like sustainability? And then like we are also, even though we are like a diversified conglomerate, like people always think like we are this automobile company, but we are into retail, agri, and whatnot, right? So one of the areas I think we have been more creative, innovative, and also like in terms of pushed when it comes to inclusivity is one thing, like when we like promote like women in like unconventional job roles,
right?
Like because that is something that's very core to DMO and also very how can I say, it's like very close to our heart, because now when the company was started like in the 1930s, like 1939, it's been like almost 80 years. You can see like a huge journey, right? And it has taken so much pride as well as like a lot of effort from so many people, right? You know, pushing whereas like I can remember like even our chairman talking about at the initial stage, it was only like 15 ladies who have been there for like being like, when you say secretary, like it's always a lady, right? And so that was like the nature of the business. Whereas now, like when you look at it, like we have like ladies working in the workshop, ladies who are like service advisors, and that is also like you know, it's a journey, because I can remember like even like we have this program called Powerfully You, where like powerfully, you know, women empowering and stuff. So like when we have these conversations, you also listen to like different stories from, especially like, from the Mercedes Center, like receptionist, like, she handles all the inquiries that come for like service. And she says like if she tells like there is a lady service advisor, so there is that reluctance, like, like, oh, can a lady like look at my vehicle, like why? So I think it has taken time, like to like, like push this, like to say like, a lady also can, service a vehicle, give you advice on how to take care of your vehicle. But I think it is like an amazing journey. Like we have tried a lot of different things and pushed the leadership also in so many different angles as well. And I think we have been more creative and innovative in that angle, which is something I feel very proud about. Even though maybe when I say diversity and inclusion, we do talk a lot about women empowerment, but that is something like when it comes to demo, as in with the nature of business. So how we have come so far, I think that is like a really successful story that we can always be proud of talking about.
So I mean, I've been to demo once, right? I've been to demo once for a training program, and I absolutely loved all the cars parked right in front.
Right.
It was amazing. It's like a time capsule.
Yes, that's like the showroom, and we also have like the class. I think you have seen the classics.
Classics.
So that is like something of a show for like even like because we have the auditorium there as well. So when visitors come or when we have events, that is like the thing for people to see actually.
Because I went to the auditorium for the program.
Right. Fantastic. Right. Okay. So your next question. Let's see. Okay. What practices can embed inclusion structurally across supply chains? I don't know why I'm asking a supply chain question. From sourcing to production to distribution.
Okay. So I mean, like I previously said, I think the base or the foundation of all of this is knowledge and the information. So I think with the advancements of technology, we are having the information availability, right? And with the traditional, the heritage that we have had with the decades of industry experience, we have a certain amount of tacit knowledge as well, right? So I think technology, tradition, sustainability, everything coming together, I think completes the equation, right? So some of the practices that we can push down our value chain is basically, for example, GHG. Like if you look at GHG emission, because textile industry being one of the largest consumers of energy and water, I think GHG is one of the number one priorities that we look at when we talk about sustainability, right? So even if you look at scope 3 emissions.
That's what I was going to say. Scope 3 is like very challenging.
It is very challenging. And even just gathering the information is challenging. So, but I mean, if our supply chain wants to be inclusive, if they want to be included with the business, they will have to abide by these things. I mean, there is no way for the industries to move forward without abiding by these practices and guidelines. Sometimes we have to force certain regulations, certain policies, certain practices. So that's basically how we can push our supply chains to be more sustainable, I think. Yeah.
So I can understand the pain because like being in like a very much diversified organization, scope 3, and calculating the emission, it's very challenging.
And another area that we look very, very strictly is our chemical management. Right. Because we consume quite a bit of chemicals. So we are EZDHC signatory partners, like I said. So we have very strict chemical management practices, chemical management policies. So what we do is we hold chemical supplier forums, chemical management forums, waste supplier forums, waste collectors forums. And last year, we are very proud to say we had a sustainability summit. The first sustainability summit conducted by a single organization in the textile industry, actually. So we had about 220 odd participants coming across all industries. not just textile and apparel, but also chemical suppliers and also plastics manufacturers and many other industries were present. So that sharing of knowledge, I think, is the way forward. You know, I mean, you can't just live in your own little silo, your own little bubble. Just TJ living in TJ's boundary will not work. So you have to push that, and you have to work up and down your value chains. So I think that's the only way forward.
Yes, definitely. Right. But I was going to tell, like, you didn't invite us for this summit, but yeah.
Extremely sorry. The next time when you have a summit, we'll make sure that your demo is invited.
Fantastic.
All right. Let's see. How can industries rooted in tradition redesign value chains to ensure they are inclusive as well as sustainable?
Again, value chain. What was this?
How can industries rooted in tradition redesign value chains?
Tradition. Okay. I think. Is it okay if I skip this question?
I think I may,
You can. You
no,
will be able to.
I think I may have answered a part of this question.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
How we can industries rooted in tradition redesign value chains to ensure they are inclusive as well as sustainable. So, like I said, I mean, I think being inclusive goes beyond people. Like it goes to organizations, systems, our traditions, our values, and whatnot. You know, so I think to redesign these systems that we have inherited.
It is like the traditional thinking or the traditional things of doing things.
Yes, and if we continue to do the same thing over and over and over again, we are not going to yield different results.
So we need to have continuous improvement.
We need to have continuous. That's where I was going to get. We need to have continuous improvement, right? We need to stay updated. We need to learn and evolve. So that learning and evolving, I think, will redesign these traditional systems.
I think that is needed in anywhere you go. I think that continuous improvement, and also like taking that traditional things. I think in some parts you will need the indigenous knowledge, like especially like when you talk about biodiversity and things like that. Even when it comes to farming, agriculture, you have all these things. But I think we need to think beyond, like taking those traditional knowledge. Like now, if you look at like demos into agriculture. So while we do a lot of looking at different methodologies, like in terms of agriculture, looking at traditional methods and things like that. It's also like you need to incorporate that with like different techniques.
Yes.
Right? Because now it's about the yield, and also there is climate change happening. So then you will have to look at different innovation possibilities to see how you can actually like look at different ways of climate change mitigation to whatnot, because now weather is changing. So how are you going to get the yield that you have been focused, or like in terms of given the objective or target, like by this time you need to have this. So I think you need to have that, and then like get a lot of other inputs also in terms of innovation and also like using tech.
And then to add or to build up on what you were just saying, if you look at the textile industry, we use cotton mainly, right? The climate change has completely impacted the cotton farming and the cotton market, the cotton prices and everything. And from a textile point of view, textile industry has not evolved that much comparatively to the automotive industry, right? Yes. So we have deeply rooted traditional ways of doing certain things.
Okay.
I mean, of course, we've developed, digitalization has come across and we've developed. But for example, if you think about a dye master or a color master, someone who's a specialist in making color recipes or dye recipes, that is something that is very, very, I'd say, traditional, and you have to have years of experience. You have to done it in person, and you need to have that experience, the wisdom that you have. So those things, I think we can't move to a side and try to go on this journey. But I think technology, tradition, and sustainability, all three has to move hand in hand. I think that's the only way forward.
Yeah, and I was also thinking like something like now since we are into automobile industry, and then there's also EVs.
Yes. Yes.
So some of the like kind of like even when you talk to people and their perceptions, like even if I talk to my dad, like so so ICE engines is like the thing, right? And they don't want to move into EVs. Then there's also the other part in terms of like recycling EV batteries. So there is a huge discussion, and then
what even solar panels, not just EV batteries.
Exactly. So we are moving towards something, but I think like while we look at innovation or like looking at production itself of a new item or product or whatever, there's also like waste and other things that are coming from another angle, which I think it's also like something that we have to look at in another innovative angle. So I think there is like it's like the answer to, let's say, the human animal conflict, right, or human elephant conflict. So because like being an animal enthusiast or like a person who loves animals, my focus would be like to look at the elephant itself and look at a solution for that. But then from a social perspective, like you will be looking at like, okay, so what are we going to do about the people who are there, right? So that holistic approach, I think we have not being super successful in coming up with a solution. I think like holistically we have to look at certain things. When you move into something, maybe we say sustainable solution, but there might be different angles in terms of looking at waste or anything else.
I think you brought up a very interesting point about when you talked about circularity. Something came to my mind was, I mean, when we think about circularity, basically circularity is kind of regenerating resources, eliminating the waste and regenerating resources. And likewise, I think inclusion is actually regenerating opportunities. So basically, it's on a common ground, regenerating opportunities for everyone.
And I think that is why diversity and also being inclusive as a whole is important, because now see, like even us talking about supply chain and biodiversity, so this conversation itself is like bringing different aspects to the whole dialogue that we're having today. So that itself, like when you have a problem or that when you're looking at the solution, I think those insights coming from different angles, it's much needed. And also it's very important that we look at it in a more logical way. So I'll go with your question since we like answered that question like together, right? What risks arise when organizations neglect the diversity factor, whether in nature or in people?
Okay, what will happen if we neglect? I think the short answer is we will become obsolete, right? Because having a diverse culture, having people from different backgrounds, having people with different skill sets, different knowledge levels, and different perspectives, I think that's what keeps the industry innovative, right? So without that innovation and that push or that energy to move forward, I think organizations will become obsolete.
I think it'll be super dull.
It will be super dull as well. Yes, of course, it will be super dull as well. And again, this diverse ways of thinking, our exposures, our experiences, our knowledge put together makes us, I think, the best innovative people in the industry. So that is what keeps us moving forward. So if we become very traditional and if we don't allow diversification or inclusion into our organizations, like I said, it will be very dull. And also we will most probably lose our innovative edge. So I think That's a short and sweet answer.
Yeah, and also the food probably.
Yes. Let's see. Circular economy thinking shifts industries from linear to regenerative models. How can inclusion be understood in the same way, closing gaps rather than creating waste?
I think we answered that
We
question.
answered.
Yeah.
May I pick another question?
Yeah, I guess so. I think we are diversified in our answers also.
Yes. So, what possibilities emerge when biodiversity science, engineering, and textiles intersect in thinking about sustainability and inclusion?
Right. So I think nature can give you a lot of solutions if you like really look at it. I think so see now biomimicry is something that we have always looked at, and to look at tech or to come up with a solution for so many different problems that we have. So I think when you look at science and then look at nature itself, see, it's a simple thing. Like you will never think like even the innovation of a Velcro is like came from nature,
Yes.
right? Or like even looking at nanotech, the lotus effect coming from nature, that you will actually think like you will have a nano effect in terms of the lotus effect, like to your clothing, or like because you're coming from the textile industry, like because we did swimwear at Linear Aqua, and we did couple of materials that's like nanotech, and so I think that innovativeness, that solution provider kind of give those ideas coming from nature. You think beyond, and that different diversification within nature, because it's so complicated, right? And even though it's so super complicated, it's like super connected.
Yeah.
And the networks are like moving here and there. And I think that is the beauty of it, because you have that balance, because that brings in the solution for you. So I think that is something that I think we have taken in some instances, like to come up with different solutions, even in the apparel sector or even in the automobile sector. So I think it plays a huge role. If you just sit still and look out and see, maybe you see like so many different solutions that is out there. And I think that gives you a horizon of a lot of things. You want to add anything?
Yeah, I mean, because the engineering background and being in sustainability as well, I think engineering and sustainability needs to coexist. I've experienced this firsthand, because majority, I'd say more than 80% of all the sustainability initiatives has to be executed by the engineering department. In textile industry, I think the rest of the industry is also the same. So this coexistence, let me tell you something. The engineering department, sustainability team is also part of the engineering department. In traditional organizations, sustainability was a completely different group.
Yes.
It was a different group. Engineering was different, production operators were different. So, but at TJ, sustainability comes under engineering, right? So we coexist. And the best thing is the knowledge and experience sharing that we have been doing. So sustainability thinkers influencing engineers.
Yes. Correct.
So I think that's the beauty of being inclusive or being coexisting.
Yes.
It builds this symbiosis where you support each other and you grow and evolve at the same time.
Yes. Something that my boss always tells me, it's like, Megha, sustainability is not charity. Like we always think like it's either CSR or you do something. Exactly. So like when you actually think like that, and when you see like, okay, what is our core business and how are we going to make our business more sustainable? This is where the answer is, like, because sustainability needs to be integrated.
Yes.
And that plays a role in terms of financial sustainability, as well as how people play like a major role. And of course, like looking at your resources, your natural capital and whatnot, right? Yeah. So this is like a web and a network itself.
It is a web, and of course, end of the day, everything drills down to the triple bottom line. It's people, planet, and profits. So that's basically what we are working at. And then also since biodiversity is your expertise area, I think if you look at ecosystems, if you have a monoculture, like you said, it will be very dull, right? And it will not move forward because it will be doing the same thing over and over again and probably try to survive. You know. So likewise, when you think about people and organizations, I think we also live in ecosystems. Every single organism, every single individual has their own role to play, right? They have their responsibility, they have their duty, they have their role to play. So getting the right person into the right role and the right work atmosphere, I think will enable the industries to flourish.
So that's the way you have like the right people having the right competencies working for the right role, right?
Exactly.
And so that comes in biodiversity. The biodiversity, at least, like, you know, like just like sustainability has 3 pillars, biodiversity also have like the 3 components, right? Species diversity to genetic diversity to ecosystem diversity. So you see how diverse like even the genetic diversity is, like to think about the species diversity, like to different ecosystems. So you see, it's a complex thing, but then everything works super, like, you know, automatically, that it makes sense.
It makes sense.
Okay, let's pick the last question.
So this is going to be the final question.
Yes. If you could leave listeners with one shift in mindset for transforming inherited systems into inclusive and sustainable ones, what would it be?
Oof. See, I think I will put it this way. It should be a question that you need to ask yourself, right? How you want to leave the system behind for the next generations or the next inheritance to come. Are you going to leave it the same way that you inherited it, or are you going to put your spin to it, redesign it, maybe build up on the same foundation, right? Because, for example, mammoth organizations, it's very difficult to manage change, right? I mean, it will take years and years to foster change into an organization. I can give you a small example. Think about a 40-foot container and a motorbike, right? For you to do a 180-degree turn or a U-turn, a motorbike can very easily take that turn, right? So smaller organizations, less matured organizations can make that change happen very fast, right? But matured organizations with thousands of employees, it's like a 40-foot container. You have to put a lot of effort and the turn radius is much larger. So we have to keep that in mind as well. You need to pick the early adopters, right? In an organization like that, when you want to implement change, you need to pick the early adopters and work with them, right? And then try to spread the example across. So basically, I would also ask myself the question: have one fine day when I leave TJ, have I left TJ or the engineering department the same way I inherited it, or have I put my personal spin to it? Have I put my knowledge, my wisdom, or my perspectives to it and made changes, redesigned what I received? Maybe have changed the traditions a little bit. Maybe have incorporated values like sustainability into the core of the business, right? Rather than it being just a tick in the box, right? Or being an add-on. So it's basically asking ourselves whether we have done our part. I think that will be the mindset. That should be the mindset that we have. We should not have the fixed mindset, but rather we have to have a growth mindset to absorb information. With the advancement of the technology, absorb the information. We have all these AI tools. We have all the information available now, right? So, and also we have these strategic partnerships, right? So get the information, filter them, right? Pick what is relevant to you and your organization and your team, right? Figure out what your contribution can be to change the existing system for it to be more sustainable, right, more inclusive, and maybe more diversified as well. So I think that's my take on it.
That's right. So, like, something that coming from your answer, for me, I think I would tell the listeners, like who is listening to our conversation, is like, I think change should start from you,
Yeah,
like
exactly.
like from me,
Yeah.
because we always like point a finger, like even with the whole argale thing to whatnot, we always like say like, you know, this person is there for this, you need to do this, but then if you look at yourself also, you're not doing certain things,
Yeah.
right? You're not responsible, you're not committed.
Yeah.
So I think change should start with you, and I
Yes.
think everything else will follow, and
Yes.
you know, the change will happen.
Yes.
So I think that is the take on for me from today.
It will not be an easy journey, but I mean, consistency will get you where you want to be.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes. So great conversation with
Yeah.
you, Mendaka. So I think we can go on and on about like, you know, having discussing on this topic, sustainability, engineering, biodiversity, yes, and innovation and so much. So it was a pleasure having this conversation with you.
My pleasure as well, Megha. It was very entertaining, very informative, and to hear your perspective about things as well. And coming from two different industries and two different backgrounds, I think we had a good common ground to share.
Yes.
So thank you very much, and I wish you a pleasant evening.